We are on Babylon. It's HangemHigh versus Faye. It's a best of three, and I think this might be the first game. Hard to tell. You never know when HangemHigh is going to send you a replay. You just never know what you're going to get. So, here is HangemHigh playing Zerg in the bottom right of Babylon, and here we have Faye as our Terran up in the top left. No, I was about to say in the first game, but I think it was the second game. But in the game that we've already seen, HangemHigh, what is this, Faye? Don't just, no. This is all wrong. This is all wrong. In no, you know, I don't know. I try and, like, Sometimes people say, you know, I like roast the players and I give them a hard time and stuff. I do genuinely. I want you guys to be better gamers. You know, I do try and point out flaws and errors in the hope that you won't do them again. But you know, if you don't watch the casts, then I guess you won't ever see that this is the type of thing that people have done in the past. And I've explained in the past why it's rubbish and why you just don't do it, and how important in the game of StarCraft the first few minutes of the game are. And, you know, you don't have much to do in the first few minutes other than like set up your economy, set up your tech structures, etc. And this is just atrocious. I mean, you haven't scouted at all. You've got nothing better to do than to set up, and this, you know, you've got all the time in the world and you've chosen to open with 3 depots and put a bunker behind it with no scouting information whatsoever. HangemHigh, on the other hand, has got scouting information. And if I see this, like, I am chortling to myself. Like, here is a Terran that is going to stay on one base. They're building a bunker. They've built a massive wall. They're staying on one base forever. I would literally just drop 2 hatcheries and just be like, right, you can keep your one base. You can keep your well-defended front door. I'm not going to walk up that ramp. I'm just going to build 4 bases, 5 bases. I'm just going to out-macro you so hard it's painful. And when you, if and when you do push out, you'll walk into a wall of Zerg. You know, I'll get my creep to your front door, and that will feel awfully claustrophobic. You know what I mean? Or I'll turn up with 40 Mutalisks at about the 7-minute mark. Because you can, because you know you can, because nobody that builds 3 depots with a bunker behind it is going anywhere, are they? There's definitely not pressure coming, is there? You know what I mean? Cloak Banshee is going to come out. It's not the earliest Cloak Banshee you'll ever see. But with that said, there's no spores in the main or anywhere in the base for HangemHigh. He does have a lair though, so he will potentially be able to get Overseers out. Now, HangemHigh is going to morph in some Ravagers, which is 100% the right thing to do. Put the Roaches in front of the Ravagers. Baals have a reasonable range on them. Ravagers are not armoured, Roaches are. So you get the Roaches in front to soak up the fire, and then with the Ravagers, you drop Baals onto this siege tank and onto the bunker as well. So it looks like this is going to be enough. Needs to just focus on this final siege tank, and there's just nothing else here. You know, because like the opener it's not a good opener. You're always going to be behind. You know, if you spent your first 300 minerals on supply depots, like, you know, you're already a minute behind where you should be, and like. That you might be thinking a minute, that doesn't seem so bad, but it is. His army turned up at 6.5 minutes. If you're a minute behind, a whole minute behind, you know, you're on 5.5 minute army and he's on 6.5 minute army. That's a lot more. It's a lot better. If you look at an army value graph, they're not linear. They accelerate. So a minute difference from when your first barracks goes down just makes a huge difference when something turns up at like 5-6 minutes. You're dead. GG.